Welcome to another Reaper blog video. Today we're looking at the Blasting Room Signature Series drums from Room Sound. Room Sound has been kind enough to send this to me for review. A while back I reviewed the Kurt Ballou Signature Series drums, a really great library as well. This one is recorded at the Blasting Room Studios. The Blasting Room has done a ton of great punk and hardcore bands over the years, and really cool sounding room, great sounding drum kits. Let's just do a quick overview of what you get here. So there's a 5-piece kit with 1 rack tom and 2 floor toms. You don't really see 2 floor toms all that often with virtual drums. So high tom. There are 3 different high toms. There's 2 floor toms and 2 options for each of them, different sizes. Snare, there's 6 different snares. Hi-hats, 2 hi-hats. There's 2 left crashes, 1 splash, 2 crashes on the right, the ride cymbal with 2 different options there, and then 1 china. And as an extra, there's also stick clicks. So in this page, the kit select page, we also have options for controlling each of these pieces. So this floor tom, we can change the decay time of the close mics, the overhead mics, the room mics, and bleed mics if that's an option. Because the bleed mics is not an option because we don't have the full mic bleed option on. And that's something I'll show you guys later. The first page is grooves. And in here you can find a pretty big library of drum grooves. It's kind of broken up into different songs and different styles. So here's a punk shuffle. So you just double click and then click play. My project tempo is pretty low, so that's not sounding quite right. But a bunch of great beats, and a lot of the beats that I'm using in these songs, these demo songs today, are at least started from these drum grooves that are included. Switch over to the mixer tab. You can click on any of these to reveal a set of insert effects. So I've got a transient shaper on this one. On the kick, I've got a 4-band EQ. I've got the 4K channel compressor. And also you can choose from filters, EQ, 3 different compressors, a limiter, distortion, transient shaper, and tape saturation. So lots of fun stuff there. Each track here in the KONTAKT, in the Blasting Room mixer, has 4 reverb sends. The reverb sends go out through the master track. And then there's also the 4 aux sends that are just going to KONTAKT's own mixer. Just panning, volume, solo, mute, and phase invert. The master channel effects is where you can apply a lot of different tone shaping things quickly to everything. And yeah, it's really cool. As for presets, you get 6 presets included. In preparation for this review, I've also set up 4 more presets, and you guys can download that along with the multi-channel routing setup. It's a track template for Reaper, so you can save a lot of time doing that. But we will look into that a little bit later as well. And I will also be sharing the MIDI note name map. So when you look in the MIDI editor, you have all of the note names here on the left. So this is set up as just a stereo out so that we can use the effects on the master channel. As I said, that's a quick way of getting a lot of tone options. And all of these presets that come with Blasting Room use master channel effects with the exception of the all 0 preset, which is just flat. So here we go. Okay, that's the first demo song, and here's the second one. Pretty good sounding drums. Let's go through that again, and we will solo the KONTAKT track. And this is one of my presets, JT Thunder Toms. So I'm going to go to this section here, and I'll just play this through, and then I'm going to load a different preset. So that was JT Thunder Toms. Here is JT Smashed. Now this one is really strong emphasis on the room mics and lots of compression. I just wanted to make something that's really like affected, really obvious compression on it. This one's called Dirty Smack, and again, this is using master channel effects to for transient shaping and tape saturation, things like that. But generally more of a clean rock sound. And this one is JT Shoegaze. With this one, I really wanted to use the reverbs that are included with this. Really heavily affected, kind of like post-rock shoegaze sort of effect. Here's the default kit, Blasting Room Signature Series. Here is preset all 0. Everything's just flat, no panning, no effects on the individual channels or master. And next up is Vintage Dry. So it kind of has this sort of crunchy kick sound. It's interesting. I think all of the processing is happening on the master channel. So if you're using one of these presets with a multi-output setup, you're not going to get any of these effects. You'll have to kind of start over with your own processing. Up next is Natural Balance. All right, the next one is Skate or Die. So this is another heavily processed skater punk sort of thing. There's EQ and on some of these individual tracks, and lots of stuff on the master track. Next we have Aggro. That's a pretty cool sounding kit. The kick really cuts through there. And this one's called Victory Punk. I have another demo here with the difference between the full bleed option and the basic bleed no humanize option. So I've printed these as multi-channel. If you compare the waveforms on the left to the ones on the right, even the snare top, it's got a lot of stuff in between the notes, in between the hits from the other microphones. The rack tom is totally silent if you have the basic bleed. But the actual audio difference between them is not really that drastic. If we just listen to it as a stereo mixdown here, it's pretty subtle. This is full bleed. And this is no bleed. It's pretty subtle. It's really stuff that's just really low level in between, but it makes it sound more real. Going into processing like heavy compression, you might see that making a difference. I kind of felt like the low floor tom didn't have as much sustain. If we listen to just the ride mic, which was not played, there is stuff on this track. Whereas with bleed off, totally silent. So with full mic bleed on and humanize on, you're going to have about 1.6 gigabytes of samples stored in memory, and there could be hundreds of voices playing simultaneously, depending on what's happening in that song. So yeah, it can be pretty heavy. Let's just make a copy of this over here and have a look at the voices amount. So like 260 simultaneous samples playing there for a pretty basic beat. And if we turn that off, it went down to about 150. So it's something to keep in mind. It does affect performance. You might want to turn it on and then freeze your tracks. All right, now a really quick demo of the track template. So I'm going to right click, go to insert track from template, and I've got it in my instruments folder and Blasting Room Signature Series 18 outs. There will be a link in the description where you can get this. So if you are considering buying this library and you want to use it in Reaper, this is going to save you a bunch of time. It loads super fast. It loads faster than KONTAKT by itself somehow. It doesn't make any sense to me. This has all of the tracks pre-routed, named. There is some panning, but there's no volume changes on this. If we just go to some of these grooves, you can hear this in action. The benefit of having it set up as multi-out, you can build your own mix, use your own plugins, make it work exactly how you need to for the song without using a preset. This was quite a bit of work for me to set up, but hopefully it's just going to save you a bunch of time and you won't ever have to worry about it. I've already got this set up with everything routed, gain staged pretty well, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to save you some time. So that's it for this review of the Blasting Room Signature Series drums. It's pretty great. I really like the sounds of it. Had a lot of fun making demos and setting up presets for it. This will run in the free version of KONTAKT, so if you don't have KONTAKT already, you can buy this library and not worry about needing the full version of KONTAKT. Big thanks to Dave at Room Sound for letting me try this out for a review. I think you guys will like it. There are links in the description for all of the presets, track templates, MIDI note map, and links to where you can buy this. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Support the Reaper blog through Patreon, and visit reaperblog.net for a lot more tutorials.